ready to record. And are you guys sure that you don't have questions on anything before I move on? Okay. If you do later on and you want to meet with me, you can, it's fine. But I want to do some problems where we do a little bit of an application. This wasn't what I wanted to share. So stop share, that's not what I wanted. So screen share again. And here it is, this is what I wanted. Okay, so I can actually annotate. All right, so let's see. Look at number one. So what I would like you guys to do is I would like you to read number one. What I'm showing you are problems of application problems. And these are things that people legitimately need to do. You know how we had tiling the bathroom floor problem that I had given to you guys, and we could figure out how many tiles you needed. I want you to read that. The name is, can somebody pronounce the young man's name?
Joachim.
Yes, it's Joachim. All right, so can somebody read the problem? I think it might be fun if somebody reads it. Somebody want to read it out loud, or anyone, this thing on?
Read aloud.
Okay. No, read it to yourselves. Okay, so Joaquin wants to wallpaper the four walls of his room. The room is rectangular and it measures 11 feet by 13 feet, and the ceiling is 10 feet high. So a roll of wallpaper he chosen is 2.5 feet wide by 50 feet long. How many rolls of wallpaper should he buy? What are some things you have to think about when you go about this problem? So if you want to reread it, go ahead and reread it. And what I want you to do is write down the things that you think you might have to consider for number one. And if you want to talk out loud to your friends, go ahead. I'll be right back.
Oops. What's up, Bradley?
Hey, Lucas.
What's up? What's up? Absolutely talk to each other. I'm into it. What are some things we need to know? What are things that we should figure out how to do?
Just the dimensions of the room.
The dimensions of the room, right. And so if the room is 11 by 13, and what's really cool is you're in your own bedrooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we say 11 by 13, that's dealing with the floor and the ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Yes? But we also have to take into account that your ceiling is 10 feet high. That's a nice high ceiling, by the way, whoever that belongs to. So if I said to you, first of all, how many walls are we covering?
4.
We're covering 4 walls. Good.
4 walls.
So if I were to ask someone, I'm going to see if I can call on people because this is much more fun. So I know I have 4 walls, right? So, and the 4 walls look like rectangles, right? So I have these 4 walls that represent these beautiful rectangles. Now, if I were to ask for the dimension of one of the walls, Gabby, can you give me the dimension of one of the walls?
One of the walls would be 11 by 10 feet.
So it would be 11 feet by 10 feet. So in other words, look in your room. And how many of you have a rectangularly shaped room? If your room, and just imagine that it is. So if you have this, you understand, because, you know, here's how, you know, the one wall is 11 by 10. So in other words, if the wall behind me is 11 by 10, then the wall where?
In front of you is 11 by 10.
Also going to be 11 by 10. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is going to be 11 feet by 10 feet. So Sammy, what would be the dimensions of the other 2 walls?
2.5.
Well, let's go back and does it make sense?
Oh,
Do that again, right? So go back and take a look at that one again, right? So what's actually 2.5 feet wide?
just like
The
the
roll.
wall.
The roll of exactly the roll.
Oh, so would it be 11 by 13?
Well, what is 11 by 13, honey?
The room.
The floor.
So the floor is 11
Wait,
by.
so are they all 11 by 10?
Are they?
No. So 2 of them are 11 by 10.
Wait, oh.
It's like,
So think about it. So if I were to, let me see if I can move you guys out of the way. So if I were to draw this, right? If I were to draw this, let's see if I can do. This is your floor, right? And these are your walls. Yes, you with me? So my floor, what are the dimensions of my floor?
11 by 13.
11 by 13 feet, right? Am I wallpapering the floor?
No.
No, but I know that all of my walls are, the walls are 10 feet high. You see what I'm doing here? Does this help? Does my picture help you? Okay, so now we said that, so this wall here and this wall over here is 11 by 10. So that means that this wall here is going to have what dimensions? We know it's going to be how high?
10.
It's going to be 10 feet high. How wide is it going to be from here to here? Well, this right here is 11, right? We said the floor was what dimensions? The floor
13. 11 by 13.
This is 11 here, right? This right here is 13, which means this is
13.
Right, so it's going to be awesome. So it's going to be 13. Way to hang in there, kiddo, because I know it can be tough. So this is going to be 13 feet, which means this is also going to be 13 feet by 13 feet, right? Is everybody with me?
Mm-hmm.
So now, if you are going to wallpaper, you really need to know what the dimensions of your walls are. So if I wanted to find the square footage, this would be 110 square feet. Is that right? This is 110 square feet. This is 130 square feet. And then this is another 130 square feet. So if I asked everybody, what's the total square footage? What's the total square footage of the walls of the room?
I got 623 square feet.
So we have 623. What if that it can't be 620?
Because I got 143 for the floor. Oh, for the walls.
Hold on. Hold on.
I got 480.
Isn't 13 times 10?
No, I included the floor. Sorry.
Oh, you don't
Yeah.
Floor, right? So okay.
Yeah.
Total square footage of the walls, right? Let me go back to my walls. Can someone shout that out to me? I know. Sometimes we're like, wait a minute. Some people might want to wallpaper their floors, but the problem is that it's going to get torn to pieces. So anyway, the total square footage of the wall, Sienna, I heard you shout something.
480.
So your walls, so you have 480 square feet in wall space in your room, right? Or Joaquin does. So now he has a 2 foot wide by 50 feet long. So in other words, if he were to roll it out, it would be 2.5 feet by 50 feet, right? How much square foot is that? So in
100.
So in other words, you want to ask yourself, one roll covers how many feet? Covers how many, not how many feet, how many square feet?
125 feet
So
square.
it covers 100, so 2.5 times 50, because we would do 2.5 by 50,
125.
right? And what is it?
125.
Okay, so that means one roll is going to cover 125 square feet, right? Because that's the thing. You have all seen wallpaper, so you're covering it, and you'll notice that is length times width as you go along, so it is area. So if his room has 480 square feet of wall space, and each roll covers 125 square feet, without saying it out loud, because I'm going to call on somebody. Can somebody come up with, when I call on you, everybody right now figure out how many rolls we're going to need. But I'm just going to call somebody out in just a moment, but I just want to give you a little space to breathe so I'm not so annoying. And now would you figure out how many rolls that you need? Okay. All right. Rachel, what do you got?
You're gonna need four rolls.
You would need 4 rolls because you would do 480 divided by 125. And what would that give you?
You get 3.8 something, which is a decimal, so you have to round up.
Yes, because otherwise, so you need 4 rolls. Does everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So I want you all to take a look at number 2. And let's start reading that question. That's a great question. And I want to take into account things that you need to think about, okay? The things that you need to think about if you were to go ahead and solve this problem.
It's a lot of rooms.
Yes. Well, you know, Renee's got a job and she's a good,
Yeah.
but, you know, Bernice is the one taking up the slack, so. Wow, the four wheel walls and a ceiling. Have you guys ever painted a ceiling? Have you guys ever painted before?
Yes, it's horrible.
Oh, it's horrible. The cutting in is awful. The ceiling, like rolling out the ceiling is awful because you're getting you're getting sprayed, your shoulders hurt, your hands hurt. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Right? Would you all agree with that? It's not a very pleasant thing. So,
Completely agree.
right? Would you all agree with that?
Yes.
So,
I had to paint this room,
for those of
Seashwa.
you who have had to, right? So, and this is another realistic question, you know, because I've painted essentially every room in this house. And I
Yeah.
have to figure out the square footage of the walls and, you know, of the walls. And I would have to do the ceiling because, you know, I would obviously, I do my ceiling in a different color than the walls, but that's irrelevant. So for this problem, they want to do the ceiling and the walls in the same color, which really does make it a lot easier, by the way.
I had to paint this room, most of this room.
Really?
It was horrible.
Yeah, I think you could, like, you see, if you look around, look at mine, if you guys can see, because I just saw you. So if you see mine, and you guys are looking around, you see where the trim is and everything?
Yeah.
I had to cut around all that with my paint.
Look at this. Like it's like not even at all.
Yeah.
It's like it's not a square. It's horrible.
And then the hardest thing is cutting in. It's the worst.
Yeah.
All right, so question, you guys. How many walls are you covering? How many walls altogether do you have to paint?
5.
Including all the rooms?
Yeah, and no, just for one room. How many walls are there, like that you actually have? There are 5. There's 4 walls and a ceiling. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
So how many total walls does she wind up painting if there's 148 rooms, Harrison? What would you do? If you want to find the total number of walls that she actually has to paint. Each room requires how many walls to paint?
4 walls
Well, and
and the ceiling.
so that means how many walls for each room?
So 5 walls per each room.
And if there's 148 rooms, what would you do? What operation would you do, kid?
It would multiply 148 by 5.
Yes, she would. So how many walls does she have to cover?
740.
Woo-hoo-hoo! That's a lot of walls. Woo-wee! She's going to be in great shape. She's going to have good grip strength. She's going to be able to work out everything there, which is kind of cool. So as you're staring at that, the next thing, so now that you know how many walls she has to cover, what do you think you have to figure out after that?
Measurement of all the walls.
The measurement of all the walls. You see what I did there? I just moved that over here. So in other words, how many of you actually drew out 5 rectangles? How many of you actually drew out, whoops. How many of you actually went ahead and said, I'm going to draw out 5 rectangles? Yes or no? Can I hear a big yes or a big no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to drag my way. So we have these 5 different walls. I think the hardest thing is to figure out what the dimensions are, right? Now, maybe, just maybe, would it be wise to draw the room, like one of the rooms out itself? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, what I like to do is when I draw out a room is I start with a parallelogram. So if you go with a parallelogram, like so, like I'm doing here. Everybody see what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
You can go straight up. Just make sure that you're going straight up, that all of these are all parallel to each other. Okay? And then just go a little bit higher, and then maybe you can just go ahead and play connect the dots. La, 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 la. Can you guys play connect the dots with me? Say
Connect the dots.
Okay, good. So if I want to go ahead, and find out this right down here, this rectangle right here represents what in the context of the room? That's the
Floor.
That's the floor. So the floor is going to have the same dimensions as who?
Roof.
It's a room.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a roof. What's it going to be?
The ceiling.
Yeah. And if I were to ask you what are the dimensions of the floor and ceiling, Nick Lowe, what would you say? What are the dimensions of the floor and the ceiling?
Oh my.
11, 16 by 10.
What did you say?
14, 16, 10.
But what are the dimensions of just the floor? Because the floor, it's only 2 dimensions. So what would be the dimensions of the floor? Because it says 14 feet by 16 feet by 10 feet high.
Yeah, so
So what would
14
be
by
the
16.
dimensions of the floor, huh?
14 by 16.
Yeah, so this is going to be 14 by 16, which means the ceiling is also going to be 14 by 16. Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
So now I can go ahead and I can say ceiling is going to be 14 by 16, right? So that takes care of that. So now we know that it's 10 feet high, that this is 10 feet all around. So Adriana, can I have the dimensions of this one here? Let's say the front of the room. The dimensions of this right here, what would you say if I were to highlight this right here? You're on mute, honey. Are you typing in what it is? Are you saying 10 by 14 to me? Oops.
Can you hear me? Oh,
No, we can't.
No,
Yeah, we can hear you right
it's
now.
not on mute? Huh. Weird. Did you go down to the bottom of your screen and change the thing on the bottom of your screen, the microphone, so that the microphone is on? Yeah? Not sure why that's working. We'll just hang in there. So I'm going to say that if I ask everybody what are the dimensions of this wall here? Guys, anybody give me the dimensions of this wall that I'm circling?
10 by
10, 14.
This is 14 by 10. So that means if this wall, the front wall is 14 by 10, then who
Other
else
wall.
is 14 by 10?
Or opposite wall is 14 by
If I were to
10.
say front wall is 14 by 10, then also the back wall, would you all agree, would also be 14 by 10?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good. And then the 2 side walls, so if I were to use a different color, if I were to use a yellow right here, can I have the dimensions of this here?
16 by 10.
That's 16 by 10, thank you. So this is 16 by 10, which means the other side wall is also, which is right here, is also going to be
16 by 10.
16 by 10, right? So I think the hardest part, would you all agree, one of the hardest parts of this problem is finding out what the dimensions of all the walls are that you need. Would you agree? Can I get a thumbs up for you guys? Okay. So so this only represents what? These 5 walls only represents
1 room.
1 room. So we have to figure out what the total square footage of 1 room is. So if I ask you for the total square footage of 1 room,
I got 824.
824?
Yeah.
Does everybody agree it's 824 square feet?
Yes.
That's area of 1 full room. Okay, good. Which means, right, so that takes care of 1 room. How many rooms are we talking here?
148.
40.
So that means what's the
Oh,
total square
740.
footage that she's actually got to cover in paint?
Is it 148 rooms?
Yeah, it says 140.
Oh, 121,925.
Like, because you're going to multiply 148 times 824 square feet, yes? So we're talking 121,952 square feet
Yeah,
that has to cover in
52.
paint, right? Do you think you guys can go ahead and work on the rest of this problem?
Of course.
Yeah, because I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave you here, and I will specify when I want this. This one won't be due until tomorrow, so I might say finish number 2. You know, I will put that on the thing here, but I think that's what I want to do. I want to leave you here to see if you guys can go ahead and finish everything that you need to finish this one, okay? And then maybe we'll go over it on Friday, or I'll just post a solution to it on Friday. So one of the things that I'm doing is we are doing area, we are doing circles, so we're doing a lot of little things at first, which is together, but I'm doing that because I think we can handle it. But I also, you know, I'm trying to give you guys really nice applications problems to think about and to think through, and we'll just kind of take it from there, okay? Are there any
Yes.
questions before I stop recording? Did you have anything for me?
Do you want to see a funny video?
Yeah, sure.
Wait. Ah. Look at the cow.
It's a
Do you
cow.
see it? It is a cow.
You can pin him to see it. That is so cute. Hello, cuteness.
It's
Oh, that's so sweet.
funny, right?
Yes, I like that. That makes- Okay. Are we all good, gang?
Yes.